day?
Well,
like?
I was like a paid intern who basically was just the front
You got
desk.
paid?
Yeah.
What?
It's cool
Whoa.
to do that.
Exactly.
This podcast is not about movies anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Greg was in development, so he actually had to do stuff, but I just had to like refill the fridge and
I
answer the
assigned
phone.
you scripts for coverage.
You did.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were
Look at this girl.
awful.
She's flexing so hard right now. I'm like so
I'm
envious.
intimidated right now.
Why?
No. We're all who we are.
Was it LaCroix?
Yes.
It was LaCroix.
Oh, fuck. It was
Zero
literally, it
and
wasn't
Diet
even like
Coke
bubbly or
and
something.
regular Coke.
Yeah.
3 different kinds of Cokes, and I had to order them from Costco every week.
shit,
And I even asked them, like, do we really need Diet Coke and Coke Zero?
Yes.
And it was just a...
You do. I'm sorry.
just
I love both, but like there's a very
There is a
specific
difference.
personality complex for both
So,
true.
like,
at the same time.
if you
Each
were at a
diet drink
place...
has a
If I was in a
different
place, right,
and that had both. Which
had
one would
both.
you choose?
My default, I'm not gonna lie, it would depend on my mental health state. I would say if
like
I
a mood
wanted,
ring.
if I was like very kind of present and bubbly and bright, I would probably want something more akin to a traditional Coca-Cola, which is what Coke Zero more
You're
closely.
right.
But if I was in an emotional state, which I usually am,
Right.
I'm melancholy, like by default.
Okay.
I would go Diet Coke.
Definitely.
Like it is what it is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, maybe I'm poisoned by
Diet
branding,
Coke
but
like
it is,
No.
it is the sad woman's beverage, and I'm not
right.
sorry about it. Like it's fully, it's
You're
my
so
default.
right.
Honestly,
You're so
Diet Coke is my default.
Nice.
I always pick Coke Zero. I don't go based on mood, but now that you pointed
at
it
us.
out...
Little ray of sunshine over here.
Oh, I'm really not. I'm actually not.
Oh no, I'm teasing.
But,
no, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm just
No,
thinking
that's
of,
wonderful.
I'm just thinking about how Diet Coke should have like the sad woman's drink.
I totally
that
should.
be
Look,
the
you know
slogan.
what? Like Trump took us down years ago.
like
What
But
do
it
you
is,
prefer,
it is, it's
Victoria?
misogyny.
what do I prefer? I'm just a straight Coca-Cola. Like let's
Yeah,
wrap.
no,
let's, if
Victoria,
we're gonna-
Victoria doesn't fuck around with the aspartame, the Splenda,
I don't.
the sucralose.
Well,
Sometimes
but
you
apparently
have
high
to.
fructose corn syrup's okay. Although if I can,
Well, you know, it has to be okay
I
because you
can-
can't avoid it.
but if I
It's
can get a
everywhere.
Mexican Coke, that is
Oh,
preferred, right?
gold standard.
Sure.
That's the
best.
gold standard,
Just
but...
go anywhere in silver, like, and pay $10.
Yeah.
Does anybody else get excited when you see those big the soda machines with like the buttons where you can totally customize like
But all I
Yeah,
get is
see?
Coke.
yeah
You
like
put the
cherry,
different-
vanilla,
yeah,
whatever
all the
else
crazy
Coke.
flavors.
I
And I
don't-
always just end up getting just like vanilla Coke. It's like something super obvious,
It's a
but
classic.
I'm like,
I
oh,
don't.
amazing.
Yeah, I don't customize it at
You
all.
don't?
I just get a Coke.
Oh.
That's so interesting.
I have no imagination.
Because she's classic. No, that's the
No,
thing. Is
it's no
Victoria's,
imagination.
no, it's
'Cause she's
unironic. No,
super
she's
happy.
not.
Yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Yes.
You know what I need today?
What?
A breath of fresh movie.
Us too.
See there, it's done.
That's a movie I like to see.
This is a breath of fresh movie,
Yes.
a weekly podcast where me, Victoria Harley,
Me, Chelsea Pope.
we watch a movie neither one of us has ever seen before, and then we talk about it.
And we may not talk about everything, but we'll talk about anything. So, ding, ding, ding.
Spoilers ahoy!
Excellent.
You guys have to trademark that.
That was so adorable. That made me so happy. Oh, she's a real one.
Aw,
you have some
guys.
big shoes to fill.
I do. I need to do that.
Well, perfect introduction because
Hey.
we have
Please.
Jackie and Greg in the studio.
Hey.
Yeah.
And they're from the podcast Seen and Heard, which is excellent, and you should check it out. It's another film
Absolutely.
podcast. I'm not just saying you should check it out, Chelsea. I'm saying anyone listening.
What are you saying?
I just feel like I made eye contact with when I said
Oh
it.
no!
and
she knew what she did. Oh, she knew what she do. Oh, you
Yeah.
know, I have ears.
And I must say, this is a beautiful studio. You mentioned we're in the
Thank you.
studio.
Thank you.
This
I
is
did
a
say
beautiful
it's-
studio.
It's a proper
Greg,
studio.
take
Thank you.
notes.
Oh
is
my
all I
God,
can
it's
say.
phenomenal.
It's it's
Is Joan in the room with us? Right?
no, she's hiding somewhere.
gotcha.
The cat is.
Is she
very-
the only cat? Is she
It's the only cat. Yeah, but real.
Honestly,
she might come out.
Is she just like Joan Crawford and Tigger?
Aw.
Yeah,
Like-
Is she named after Joan Crawford?
Yes, she is.
That's,
Yeah.
I love
that's
it.
so cute.
Thank you.
I love her cute little water bowl over there.
Oh
the little
yeah,
water fountain.
yeah.
Little
She's
swan.
got a whole, she's got a whole little thing
She's
going.
got a whole apparatus.
Yeah, she's spoiled.
I feel like I'm neglecting my cats.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Why
have
don't
cats.
they
I should have a water
plural.
plural. I have
Oh
two.
no!
yeah.
Don't compare.
He doesn't have cats. He has girls.
Oh,
he
yeah.
refers to them as the
Oh,
girls.
the girls.
The
Oh, well,
girls.
Like
I
less.
Yeah, the girls.
I love this.
It's
I
you
love-
know those things that just kind of happen.
Yes.
you
Oh
know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
like accidents.
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fabulous.
Like you say it once or twice, and then it's like,
if you have like,
Oops,
Serious.
this is
if
a
you get
pattern.
one or two more, it could be like the harem.
oh yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, let's
That's
go.
the logical progression. I
I
think.
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
We're having a good
That's
time.
just happiness. Today's film is the 1982 drama The French Lieutenant's Woman, directed by Carol Rice and written by Harold Pinter.
Wow, Harold
Yes.
freaking Pinter.
I know, right?
I
Yeah,
can't
dude.
believe it.
saw-
I really like. I'm shook.
His name came up on the screen. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is a
I wasn't
real.
he's got some
expecting
clout. You know,
Yeah.
he's a dramaturg.
Yeah.
That's the word going out. That's
Dramaturg.
the word of the week, right? Where we all like Succession, right? Yeah. It's
Yeah. Well, it's fine.
That's okay.
I-
You don't. You honestly, you don't have to.
Enjoy, but did not enjoy the LA
just
Times.
read like one.
publishing.
Read
the-
one
I have Twitter.
Shakespearean historical play.
Unlike Succession,
Yeah.
this movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Yeah.
This is a story within a story. Woo.
No, it's based
How
on it's based
meta.
on a piece of literature, and
It is based on a book, yes, written by I don't have his name right here. So this is when I usually will cut something.
well, it's part of the
Based on a novel by
Yeah.
John Foles.
There we go.
Now the novel, I guess, is actually the narrator plays a kind of role. Okay, you know. You
No,
did
I saw this, yeah.
Excellent. I love that you brought notes.
I
oh my God.
I have
Yeah, I
to.
have
You both
I'm-
brought notes. Oh my God, this is amazing.
I'm a printer though.
Okay.
Greg never prints.
Oh,
his
I'm a
notes.
fan.
They're on my phone. Yeah.
That,
I
feel like-
that's how it is. It's
I feel like you go through the things
I'm a
and
paper
you just
thing.
kind of
Yeah.
round like they
yeah,
did their homework.
it's great. No, I love this.
I always do my homework. And did you
respect
guys
it.
know that this is considered metafiction? Did
Yes.
you guys know that metafiction was a thing? I didn't know it was a thing.
I love
Postmodern
that.
No, I know postmodern, but
Yeah.
metafiction, I've never heard the term metafiction.
Interesting.
Have you?
Or like meta in general.
No,
you
no, no.
hadn't,
Meta, I know. Modernism,
Sure.
postmodernism, I know. But this is like, I looked
I
it up
would-
and it was like, is a
yes.
metafiction book.
I don't want to say the first time I heard about it was like with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right? Because you have the meta framing.
Right,
Oh,
Right. And then I did take a postmodern class that further added to contextualizing meta.
So you knew. So you're an
Story.
expert on metafiction.
Meow meow meow. I'm kind of a meow meow
So you
meow.
have a PhD
I
in
grew out my
metafiction?
mustache to flex. No, I think just it is a fascinating idea that adds context to a story like the original novel French Lieutenant's Woman. So I think it's awesome that you pointed that out. Like I think that I think it's really important to
That I pointed out that I didn't know what metafiction. metafiction was a word.
the fact
we're
that you
talking
took the
about
time to learn what it was is like awesome. But on top of the fact, slay, I just knowing that this is a meta story is fully integral to understanding why this film is made the way that it is,
Yes.
because it's not just
Definitely.
a direct adaptation of the novel. It is fully a call and response to it.
yeah.
And that's what I was like telling Victoria. This is very sort of like Vengeance for Anna Karenina kind of vibes, you know. But so
Yeah.
again, there is a
Totally.
call and response to this. There is
Yeah.
meta is extremely important.
Yes.
You
And-
nailed it. A+.
Thank you.
Step up over here.
It's two things now. Shit.
Right, because this is a period piece, but
Yeah.
it's also taking place in the present. These actors are playing the characters.
It honestly elevates the themes of the original text.
For sure.
doing
Yeah. I
that.
think like I have like, some notes about how this
please.
came together later. But before we get into that, I mean, is this checkpoint Chelsea moment?
I don't think it.
We're not gonna
I
spoil-
don't think this is not one of those like Sixth Sense kind of movies that it's not a ding 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 spoil. Like it's telling you a rather actually straightforward story about
Yeah.
societal norms against
Infidelity.
I guess like honestly against just like female
That too.
or
Oh my
like
God.
just a woman's self-actualization in two different modes of society, like film wise, and then again the original text, which had its own criticisms for seeming regressive,
Right.
and it's and expressing the idea of a woman only having a limited terrain of how she could self-actualize.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that about it.
Yeah. So it's kind of that's the thing. So it's, you know, I don't. That's all I'm saying. Checkpoint Chelsea wise.
Yes.
I don't. Whatever. Like
We can pass on by.
Yeah.
You're waving us through.
You're not.
Okay,
It's not.
great.
It's not a jump scare
No,
reveal thing.
Definitely not. Although it turns out she was French all along. No.
What?
No.
Wait. What?
So before we get into any of the background, all that, what did you guys think? Greg, what did you think of this?
Yeah.
First impressions.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, the credits come up at the end. Like, what the hell do you feel?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think like the simplest way my feelings for this movie was that it was surprising me until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
And I was somewhat let down by like the last third of the movie or so, where like
fair.
I was so into the movie.
Yeah.
It was like gothic. I loved the back and forth. I loved the modern stuff. I loved the way it was each was commenting on each other, and then it just kind of like, I don't know, I know that the book is famous for having 3 endings, and in the film, in the modern segment, there's Jeremy Irons says like, oh, we're doing this, does he say it's second ending? I think he says
Or I
second
think he
ending.
says both.
They're
He
gonna
says-
make it, he's like caught off guard because the servant guy comes out and was like, would you like to do the more straightforward, the original unintended, or you want to do the second one, or you do the one that's happier or the one that's sad? He's like, oh, the second or whatever.
Which
I think
one?
it's intentionally vague.
It is.
He's exactly. I think he just doesn't know what the fuck he's.
Well, because I know one of the endings
I
of
want
the
to
book.
unpack that too, like that lack of enthusiasm that happens because like that's so understandable.
Yeah, well, so I know that the 3 endings of the book, one is that he just ends up alone.
Yeah.
The other one is he ends up with the fiance, and then the third is he ends up with the Meryl Streep character.
Right.
So the movie goes for the 2,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what happened and at
Yeah.
what point in this film, but I was so into it until I wasn't. I want to say I was into it up until the scene where they sleep together. Like
Yeah.
I was into that.
Yeah.
That was a great
Honestly,
scene.
that really took me.
Yeah, I think it's so.
That was
We don't
like
do- I
the
don't, you know.
least sexy sex scene, which I usually like. I like not sexy sex scenes, but
Oh, no.
something about that one was so uncomfortable.
I don't know that they have that much chemistry.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
you're
I
right.
really have to think it's by design.
That's
I
what I'm
really,
saying.
I have to
probably
believe.
is.
I have to believe similar to like.
But yeah, no.
I just think like Jeremy Irons and like Lolita, and the idea that like this guy is not a desirable person. He's kind of a just a wayward cuck. Like he
Right.
sucks, and he can't even. He
Wayward cuck.
inserts and he's done. And she like
Yes.
she's just like, oh, and then
Wow, yeah.
like it's a means to an end thing,
Major-
and I'm very
It was very short.
Major virgin energy.
Oh, it was
like,
terrible.
Such
I was like,
a virgin.
and it's so funny too because literally after that scene, right? That's when she disappears. He does
Right.
not. So I was like, like I kind of was like, I already wikied at that point, but I was like, I couldn't help but laugh and just think he was that fucking bad. Like, he was just that fun. She's like, nope.
Never that again.
I was like, God, set your boundaries.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the book, and I know that I sadly underread my classics,
Hey,
and
we're not. We don't
I didn't read
judge
the book
here.
either. Again, I only just Wikipedia.
but
and
you're
know
a
that I didn't.
PhD in metafiction.
Jesus Christ. Where's my money? I'm a doctor.
yeah, I just don't think it's like, I know that the film is like pretty different from the book. I know that like I read Ebert's review of this, and he said he gave it 3.5 out of 4, but he said something about like, oh, it does what all great film adaptations do. It was like it doesn't cancel out the book, like it's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And you can still go back and read the book, and like
Totally.
there's a lot of surprises for you there. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how the whole narrative plays out in the book,
Yeah.
but in the film, and maybe I think it does have to do with kind of a lack of chemistry of the two of them.
I would
But-
say the fact that you watched the film, like you watched what the book was, but then you got the added context. I think of the, I guess,
Right.
you don't get
Yeah.
you're not getting every book ending. I will say that, like you're not getting the full book experience or whatever.
It is
but
like so. Like,
not to undercut. It's just,
It
know.
does
Oh, no,
feel.
yeah.
It does feel like just so overwrought, though, right? Like it's
Yeah.
so like. They're so it's the most repressed England has ever been.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like may I perhaps this
know.
will mistletoe
Was
will
this-
do.
was-
Oh, that
Was
was,
this really
so
groundbreaking?
uncomfortable.
Right.
The mistletoe.
like this will work. And also just the repression overall, like when they're in the woods together and they're talking, and then they spy that other couple, and he's like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "You're totally
silly.
staying to watch."
What a silly
Guys, you
guy.
want to stand and jerk off or something?
Exactly.
Oh no, he's being all gross.
It was
He's
so
slimy.
It was
He's
so
a slimy
repressed.
dude. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
thing with Jeremy Irons. I know he's like a handsome, accomplished guy, but he's played numerous.
he's played really
Yeah.
good
He did
guys.
this and Lolita, Madame Butterfly.
Dead Ringers.
He plays,
Yeah.
you know,
And he looks
also
like
Mandy. Like he knows how to play a guy.
Scar from Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a villain, y'all. Like
Yeah.
you should feel
Plus
gross when you see Jeremy
that
Irons.
first adaptation
don't.
of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I saw it in the theater.
I did too.
Oh, hey, Event Horizon and some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I think of Brideshead Revisited, which was that like BBC adaptation of the Evelyn Waugh.
Oh, I didn't see it.
novel.
Was it really good? Did you like it?
It's very like homoerotic, kind of subtexty, like upper class British.
So it's hot.
So it's hot. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But that's a very like big Jeremy Irons in Britain culture, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. Jackie, what were your first impressions? Like what I mean, we got the sex part, which I thank you. I'm glad it's nice to hear a woman's perspective.
Team effort.
Yeah. No, the second it opened, I'm all about like actual first impressions, like first scene. Amazing first scene, right? It blew me away. Harold Pinter on the screen. Oh shit, this is gonna be great. Jeremy Irons, Meryl Streep. I really, really wanted to love this.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
No.
It was like, I think the modern stuff didn't interest me at all. Like maybe it's because I was expecting it to be more kind of like, I don't know, like Day for Night or like Irma Vep. Like I was expecting that kind of like
Vep is such a good contrast to pull up
So
for
it was
what
like-
we're addressing in terms of adaptation and
Like
the meta
movies
storytelling.
about movies.
Right.
Like
And Day
that's-
for Night is such
yeah.
a love letter. That's
Yeah.
full of joy. Like,
yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
Good.
But
Yeah.
I
I don't
just
know
thought
what-
we were gonna
but-
see. Maybe it's because I went in with that mentality, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna see them like shoot this movie."
No,
but we
you're-
don't see them
that's
shoot
valid.
the movie.
Not
We
really.
just see the movie,
Yeah.
and then we just see them in bedrooms.
Is
Rehearsing a
Day
little
for
bit.
Night
A little
after this?
Oh no, it was before. It was
Okay,
I
well,
think.
okay.
Like
So
10
I was about
years
to say, I was like,
before.
oh, is
Okay,
this
yeah,
just
yeah.
like the
The sad
we're just
version.
letting the bar is not as high yet
Yeah.
because they're one of the more like this is one of the more earlier versions of that type of parallel storytelling.
yeah.
That's part of me being like that, but then it's like no excuse. They made
like
Day
to
for
the
Night.
game.
You could have done better.
Yeah.
You could have done better.
I did think though this was going to just be like a straight up historical drama. So
I was
the
very
fact-
taken
really?
aback.
So the fact that
I
it
was
wasn't
very taken aback.
That's great.
I was like, oh,
I went
thank
in.
God.
I went really
Yeah.
blind, and I had no idea.
That's
what I was-
fantastic. And I love non-conventional adaptations. Like I live for that, which is
Yeah,
again why I
sure.
really wanted to love this. It just felt kind of clunky to me.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Like
totally.
I can't really put my finger on
Bloated,
it. I
maybe?
think, yeah, I think it
Not to
was
put words in your mouth. I just
honestly no bloated. I think it
bit,
was
but-
the music, you guys. It was corny.
No, no.
Like, it
Music
was
was
In defense of the
corny.
music, it's Carl Davis who did. We
Yeah.
just talked about him because he's famous for doing silent films. Like he goes
Right.
back and rescores. He does a bunch of Buster Keaton, and I
Okay.
think
Got
he
it.
did the
He
score
did
for
get a-
Intolerance.
So you like
And
the
it got a
music in this
BAFTA.
movie?
It's like so. It's
I like the score. Yeah.
It's
Guys,
illustrious, but it's kind of like, oh, is it too like what side are you on?
Overwrought,
Right.
Are
exactly how you said. And like
overwrought, yeah.
like
Yeah.
that moment when she turns, like you guys didn't think that was funny? Like I, thought that
like,
was
I feel-
hilarious.
I did
a
think that was
parody.
funny, and I
It looked like a parody of a
It
period
it did,
piece.
and I do think there was
Pocahontas.
something really.
Tribute
Well, see,
John
and I really thought Mrs. Potenini or whatever. the
Oh,
hell
she
he
was
like,
so broad.
Like, I thought that because her broadness was so like it was hysterical what she was saying that I'm like, oh, this is all supposed to be like too much.
She was. Are you
I
talking
was like,
about
yeah,
the
she
wife?
was
What's her
playing
name?
like-
No, the old woman.
She's like kind of
Oh yeah,
spinning in the
she's
chair.
yeah.
who's like, how dare you go and stare out at the
Yeah,
ocean?
it's vulgar and sinful. and-
Unseemly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was like a bit much. You guys
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what's her name? I wrote it down. The
The
Which one?
fiance.
yeah,
The fiance-
fiance.
Something
Ernestina.
Ernestina.
And
You guys,
Ernestine.
what was Ernestina? What was Ernestina?
So
It
on
was
the
too much.
nose.
It looked like a joke. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
way
what-
she
even
was.
her name.
That's why maybe like that was intentional. It's supposed to be kind of a parody. The moment that really made me
Yeah.
laugh. Do you guys remember in the end when he's on the boat and he literally takes out a telescope?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God! Right, like is
I
that
was
the 3 years she
cracking
like
up.
finally sees her at the
I thought it was a hoot. I thought this movie was hilarious.
She's
but not
making me lose a
intentionally.
star. Victoria, she's making me lose a star on this, like rating wise, like in a good way. Where I'm like, yeah, this is
I don't
even
wanna
like
do that.
No, but realistically, that was a lot of what the flack that this film did
I think
receive.
like maybe with
not to jump ahead.
No,
but,
with a few more tweaks, this could almost have been like that. Do you remember that movie Mafia with Jay Moore? That was like a parody of every gangster
but
movie
you have to have a
ever,
certain
or, like,
level of
Top
self-awareness,
Secret.
right?
Yeah.
And the thing is like this is
like
written
self-aware
by
in a
a
painful way.
guy who he was too heterosexual. It's just a little too unironically fetishy, and not ironic and self-aware,
Definitely.
and the
For
right
sure.
kind of satire. Like if you're gonna say something about the cloistered female experience or whatever, and if you don't have the authority for it, at the very least, don't like suddenly sexualize either.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's the
like,
thing.
why would
I
she
feel like
say-
that muddies it, and it affects honestly the way that the movie romanticizes this relationship a bit.
Yeah.
And then the fact that we're kind of like laughing at how little how little stamina Jeremy Irons has, right? Like, I mean, literally 2 thrusts and he's like fucking done.
And the way he just throws it in
Was
there
it
too.
intentional?
It was so extremely transactional that I'm like, no wonder she ran off and then got hers. I'm like, this felt very like fully inverted Anna Karenina. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
I think
This is just a guy who got cucked.
exactly what
She knew what she was
matters
doing,
here.
and good for her.
Yeah, and honestly, slay to what she does in the end. Like when she was explaining why she didn't return to him, I was like, "This is great." Yeah,
I was
like this
she
is so
fully
cool.
owned up to why she did what she did. I was like, oh, that was
And
really
I
actually
loved the ending with the boat. I thought that was beautiful. But there's something about when he goes to. It's also in the woods when she's explaining her story. It feels kind of like
it's unnatural.
A little unnatural.
I like
yeah,
you mentioned that because I was telling Victoria this too. It's the fact that she gets it's pointed out for Meryl Streep as a performer, and she came from, I believe, Yale, and she I think there's something intentionally stylized that I will say is timing based. She's making a face because she knows I really said.
No. I don't love
this
this Meryl. This is not my favorite Meryl.
I know exactly.
She gets better as time passes. I feel like you very much see her doing the thing that did good at Yale kind of vibes.
Little bit.
It's
You're
just
right.
very little
You're right.
intentionally, like you see, like I get why she's making these gestures and they're intentional because she's being coquettish to tease Jeremy Irons. She's feigning this sort of like vulnerability when actually she's like fully in control of what like the narrative she's doing. Like she's not out of control here. Like she's done this. This is like she knows what she's doing. And
he's like, does he exist? Like,
it
feels like, wait a minute, how much have I been lied to exactly?
exactly. No, it's
I hear what you're saying.
Acknowledging that intentionality will elevate your story from like. I mean, if you were going to say something profound.
I read there was a Guardian piece. I didn't dig into it, but Meryl Streep herself, I don't think loves this performance. Like, I don't think she's.
It's
even.
a little.
I didn't want to come out and say it because I worship her. I really worship her.
It's very sort of.
We the
you
same
know what
thing.
she's doing. Everything she's doing is very, and that's not to say it's bad.
It's very effective,
but it is very. It's very on the nose, and then you see, it gets all these Oscar nominations,
which is
and
like,
she's immediately on the map for all this whatever, and it's kind of like, well,
but I laughed. Like when she turned and looked, I laughed.
Fine. No. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I feel like if you watched it in the theater, you would have been in good. Like I feel like that was an intentionally cheeky moment. But it honestly, are we being silly? Are we just taking advantage of men? Are we romanticizing infidelity?
And then the like modern story, I'm like, I don't.
Oh, it doesn't land.
I don't care about these people at all.
Well, let's switch to you. What are your like first impressions? Victoria?
I mean. Well, first of all, one of the very first things that's said, I just hear a street vendor cry out, "Moist gingerbread!" So quite literally.
As you hear.
Yeah.
Quite literally
as one
first
hears.
impression.
And then I was like, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
Hey, you don't want dry gingerbread.
I mean, no. That was great. Yeah, just the repression of it. Thank you for turning this on. Also, I think it's funny that there are all these places that are forbidden to women, like the Cobb and the Undercliff.
Yeah.
They sound like, I don't know, Oh, like lesbian bars, maybe.
It's very childish.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
it's 1981. Like really, like,
Yeah,
we're
also-
covering this kind of storyline.
Tennis,
Yeah.
anyone? Like the
Oh
scene.
my God.
The
Yeah.
that was weird,
vests
right?
and stuff.
Yeah, they were
like,
like full
Yeah.
suits, like tennis
well,
suits.
that
What
is
is-
how it was done.
But
apparently.
like tennis balls bounced on the walls and there were no line penalties and
It felt
it was
very
just a free for all.
it
That's
felt
like
very
weird.
modern.
There was a weird thing.
It was weird.
And
It was weird.
And again, it felt like the repression thing. His partner in the game
The
say to
little
him
locker
afterward.
room
And
thing
yeah,
was
the little
funny.
locker room.
It was
Victorian
funny.
locker room.
It felt so weird.
And they're just so buttoned up and they're so sweaty and
They're just
panting. It's
changing into full different vests. And,
I mean, it's
like suits.
like just unbutton something for God's sake. And that's all I wanted people to do. I also feel like this was definitely a movie about like how to juggle, but badly.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons, he looks both like a child, but also like he's 40, and I can't decide like, what is this his
Yeah.
appeal? Is this why he's so, or is it the voice?
It's just the voice.
It's the voice. Okay,
it's pretty.
I feel like, right?
Because
I
he was
don't know.
so.
I think- yeah,
he's like
I think
so
you're right.
slight in
I think
this.
you're
Like he's
right.
got such a and God, could his shirt have been like unbuttoned any further?
Also, you know, I think about like
At that rap party and the Sunday lunch.
Oh, he's just
That
he's
party.
a silly. He's just a silly guy.
he's a silly guy. I mean, I
Like,
like
watch
Are you
anything
talking about the modern Jeremy Irons or both?
Any.
Honestly,
I mean,
well,
this time.
you know what? I hate to equate it so easily to because there's obviously so much nuance to this. I don't fully mean this fully analogously, but just Jeremy Irons and Michael Douglas have this overlap of like inherently cringe and embarrassing men that are cast in these certain type of roles where they're clearly the asshole or
Yeah,
the cheater
okay.
or the cuck or the whatever.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Irons has very much done a lot of Michael, like I actually would see a lot of overlap in the kinds of character, but that I would say Jeremy Irons has done more like artisanal versions.
You were saying you didn't like the modern storyline.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
just in the way that it felt accurate to the way. Like the only thing that felt like accurate about it, I guess, was like the way the rap party just sort of ends. Like when you're on a project.
Yeah.
But I don't expect like the average maybe film goer to have had like an experience like that.
Right.
And so I'm kind of. I'm supposed to care or want them to be together, but they're balancing this infidelity, and I feel like they weren't
obligated
fully
to do that.
developed. You know, it's like I don't know
No.
enough about these people to have an opinion other
think
than
that's really fair.
they're cheating.
I think it's
on
fair
their-
too.
I will say too, a lot of the production stuff felt really like just lame, like like that party, especially the party that ends the film, because it's literally Jeremy Irons goes from the party upstairs and she's
And
gone.
then that's it.
Kinda
But the
feels like an
music that's
afterthought.
playing at the party,
Oh, it was so.
Fun of you.
it's like it was so lame. It
So
sounded like some
bad.
royalty-free music. And they're just
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
what are the kids
Exactly.
these
Like,
days
again,
listening to?
fully feels afterthought. Like they really kind of didn't put as much.
Yeah.
Like it almost felt like they needed to tack on this evolved
Right,
feminism
right.
idea. So like we have to do this whole like it almost feels like, it's like if you
Right.
wanted to just adapt the book, do that. If you
No.
wanted to do this
Well-
other thing, you need to like I don't know. Don't blow your whole budget and then go, oh shit, we have like 15 minutes worth of script that
Yeah.
like resolves this exact that like ties the two
Yeah.
narratives together. Like we
Yeah.
can't just kind of like phone in the cast party. It's kind of important. And that's so
Right.
like it caught me off guard. The credits I actually had to rewind twice because I was like,
Wait,
I
what
would look
happened?
up,
Yeah.
like because he was like running up and I was expecting something and then I'd look up and oh fuck, like they already
It's
are,
over.
like the credits already rolled.
Yeah,
What the
I was
fuck?
shocked too.
I was like, and it doesn't. I don't think it serves.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's clever.
No, that
the
music-
subtlety there. I
that
think it
music
just
was
they didn't stick the
terrible.
landing.
Yeah, the music was bad. No, the end is just it's so by the end you're just the bottom has fallen out and I'm like it feels so
they just kind of
strong.
feel like they gave up.
It feels so strongly though that I'm like, is that intentional?
I
Like,
know. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Look, I'll do it. I do that for certain movies.
But you're saying
when
no.
when they earn it. I don't think. Look, okay, listen. I know people like, and I'm gonna do this for every. I'm gonna go out of my way every episode to mention Babylon to say that I liked Babylon.
Yeah.
You did.
But I like Babylon. But it's just a good example of a film that whether you liked it or not, you can tell at a certain point everything was very intentional.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Nothing was phoned in. You watch something like this, and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
We
I don't
can't
know.
tell, right?
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
this got 5 nominations. Like,
Got a lot.
I know it got screenplay nom.
Yeah.
I just want justice for Babylon.
I will
guess.
say this just to get into like my production
Sure.
as a transition.
Please.
Because like I feel like we're talking about something which is that this movie, there was such a long road to just principal photography basically off the ground. In 1971, as early as then, the screenplays were purchased for the novel. Production was supposed to begin in 1973, but no money came through. MGM had made a deal with Franklin J. Schaeffer, who was going to direct. James Goldman was going to write. And Lester Goldsmith's, his production company, Sourdough Limited, which I think is like the greatest name for a British production company. I'm like, so Sourdough Limited wanted to make this happen, but the plans to shoot got canceled because they, quote, they couldn't make a, quote, viable filmization of this novel. So basically an entire directing and writing producing team tried to adapt it and failed. We give up. So
Again, I gotta go back to the source material a little bit with certain stuff.
I mean, yeah.
It just depends. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't end there.
All right.
Then there's Paramount. They make a deal with producer Fred Zinnemann. Again, another writing and directing team is put together. And again, nothing happens. Nothing transpires. Then there's another producer, Sal Zentz at Fantasy Films. Nothing happens. Then Warner Brothers acquires the rights. And that's when we get Harold Pinter to come in and write and Carol Rice to come in and direct. And the plan starts shooting in 1979, and then still somehow something happens, and it ends up at United Artists. I was trying to find out all the moves, but it's
Hard to keep track of those.
There's
Sure.
too many. But finally, it's at United Artists. They got the team, they got the rights, they got everything.
Yeah.
2 people who were considered for Meryl Streep's role were Julie Christie and
Julie Christie would have been really good.
Oh.
Can you imagine how
Julie
different?
Christie would have been really good.
Wait, who was the second person?
Oh, and the second person was Vanessa Redgrave. No. I mean,
Vanessa
like, let's
Redgrave.
No, she would have been really good.
I like to noodle on
They were
the
both
thought
really
of
good.
Julie Christie. I'm
Yeah.
that would be-
Honestly, that's so interesting too because of
yeah.
like how much of a cataclysm was
Yeah.
this for Meryl? Like, but
Yeah.
how much more or less?
Well,
deserved.
I mean,
It's
like
just-
she's
it's so
done the Deer
interesting.
Hunter, so I mean, like
Kramer
she-
versus Kramer.
And Kramer versus
Right.
Kramer.
I just
yeah.
it's
Maybe it was kind of the Academy just kind of like wanting to seem like we know good stuff.
yeah. I
girl.
will say, well,
Yeah.
I don't think either of those films really do her credit for like rain. I mean, the characters are both really thin in those films, but like,
But I mean,
do
she's
think-
fantastic in Kramer versus
But
Kramer.
it's not about her.
I think she's pretty thin in it. If I'm being,
Really?
I think it's a phenomenal film. I'm
I think
not
her
disparaging. That's what I'm saying.
performance is-
It's
yeah.
because she's that good.
Yeah.
It's because she's good.
Yeah, the character, sure.
I don't
but
think they're writing her with any more depth than Sally Field and Mrs. Doubtfire, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think it's at that
That's a
level.
great comparison.
No, but I truly I think it's modeled the whole time. It's it's that level of like I'm a fan of Meryl and I like
Yes.
her range. I don't think those roles
That's fair.
got to
Challenge
work yet.
her.
As on the nose and almost campy as that whole monologue sequence of her,
Yeah.
like we were talking about with the arm gesture, and it kind of takes you out of her anecdote, and like, oh, you can tell she's obviously seduced, whatever. At the same time, you're like, well, at least she's kind of doing her own thing now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a.
Wait, Chelsea, we didn't get your first impressions.
Oh, my first impression.
I like shut it down.
Do you need them?
No, I genuinely don't know. Did you like the movie? Okay, I think we're all on the
I
same
think we're on the
page,
same
right?
page. Yeah.
yeah, we are. No, we are.
It's all that to appreciate,
Yeah.
right?
No, and
I'm not-
I didn't. I'm
Yeah.
not shutting you down.
No, please,
okay.
no, I know. No, you please. I
No,
wanted
no.
you to.
I just
shut
want to
me up.
mention that. So the film was mostly shot in Cornwall, England, which that like southernmost and westmost tip that sticks out from England. So it's completely surrounded by ocean, like on 3 sides. So it's just windy as fuck all the time. That is the official.
Windy as fuck.
Windy as fuck.
I
don't wanna be
Thank
there.
you. But I just wanted to mention it because there's something just about the like Cornish. It like historically had its own language, which then became a dialect, and now it's pretty much just an accent. But it's one of these places, when you're in the far corner of anything, it has its own weird traditions and its own weird ways. And I just thought there was something really cool about. And then the landscape, it's like cliffs hitting water. Like there's just no easy beach or anything.
If all those hens
Right.
running around.
Yeah, that too. And I guess they had to the production team had to create 2 miles of footpaths just so they could access these, under cliff areas that were so forbidden. And I guess they built like 100-foot staircase, and I don't know. So I don't know if that shit's all still there, but maybe they contributed. Also, I think this is funny, considering this is supposed to be about like a scandalous romance. 1980, when they were filming it, was the wettest summer in 113 years in England.
Wow.
Meow.
Meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
But none of that translated to the movie.
It didn't. No, definitely not that one scene. Which, like,
So uncomfortable.
so uncomfortable. Just by myself, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
same.
But immediately,
I blame Jeremy.
Yeah.
I blame him.
It's his
I
fault.
blame-
Jeremy.
He's got weird vibes.
Jeremy.
Also, like, but you guys,
I mean,
the moment where like her
no.
cherry pops, right?
God.
I mean,
Absurd.
I
Absurd.
actually was not. Well, here's the thing.
And
it's
he
like,
was so
like
surprised.
I was watching it and I was like, I want to enjoy, and and he was done.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this isn't
No, I
fun.
feel the same.
It's not. Like, if you want to enjoy, like, not a cherry pop per se, because it's not that, but if you want to enjoy, like that, I know what you're, the
I want to enjoy
insertion,
Meryl Streep and
you
Jeremy
need
Irons having sex.
Boardwalk
Yeah.
Empire,
It
Charlie
definitely-
Cox,
Oh, that's right.
what's
yeah.
her face? Who Charlie
get them
Cox,
mixed up.
insertion, Boardwalk Empire, I think season 2 or 3. You
Great.
want to enjoy that? It was not fun.
Where can I
in
find this?
HBO.
HBO.
Okay.
Sorry, Max.
Yeah, but
It's gonna be
As of
Max.
today.
$20 if you want to be like super duper ad free.
wow.
But for every good sex scene in Boardwalk, you have to put up with like no shade to Steve Buscemi, but like these very awkward, drawn out.
Oh, it's a
HBO
very
sex
very
scenes.
drawn.
Yeah.
What annoyed me with French Lieutenants was that it kind of was almost reminiscent of what I almost wish people acknowledged more with Ridley Scott's The Last Duel, which is actually pretty keenly aware that what men think are is sexy
Right.
is actually not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a number, like when I was watching that scene of coitus, let's say, because it was not hot. It was so
Yeah.
short. It was so
it was
unpleasant. And I want to
clinical.
say it's clinical, and I think intentionally.
And I mean, I realized,
I like that movie.
yeah, and I realize like any period piece is in conversation with the time it was made in, so
But if you're like, what's this? If you're doing, especially if you're doing this whole meta
right.
back and forth storytelling,
this?
what is
Why?
this message
Yeah.
you're trying to say about the female experience?
That it
It's
sucks.
also written by a male author, and he's criticized with the original text for being too
Right.
sexual. Like he was like, what are we doing? It's like kind of a Sam Levinson Euphoria kind of. I feel like I feel like
Exactly
you
the
have what
same.
you think you're doing, and then there's what's being shown to us. Like kind of
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
Well, and this is 1981 too, so like Merchant and Ivory were about to have their big day with like Room with a View,
right.
1985,
Yes.
and Morris, and all those films.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Which
actually
do this,
recommended
So
but-
much better.
on
Yeah.
HBO Max.
I was just gonna say this.
You mean Max?
This
The
on
Room with
Max.
the View.
On Max.
Sorry. God.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I was just gonna say when I was watching this, the more like this section, all of the movies had like people with their eyes closed and their mouths open and like foreheads touching, or like there'd be ear play or something, and I just apparently like inhaling through your mouth with your eyes closed is a sign of passion.
Yeah. But you guys, it's so interesting because what I love about the book part of it. What I love about the book part of it is the discourse about her as a woman, what she
Yes.
decides to do, how she needs to have a life
That's
for
what makes
herself.
it good.
That's what makes it good.
That's
so
what makes
what
it
in
good.
the modern story has anything to do with that?
But deadass, they spend so much time on that shit.
yeah.
They spend so much time
Like, what
on
is that lunch?
on that
What
shit.
do we get
what
out of
are
that
we doing?
lunch?
Well, and it
I don't
turns into
know.
a different movie too. What was that
fully.
movie with Alan Renee? Or not Alan Renee's the director. What's the guy from Les Samurai? Alan Delon.
Alan Delon.
Alan,
With
yeah.
him and Romy Schneider. La Piscine. Have you guys seen La
I've seen
Piscine?
that.
Piscine, yeah.
I feel like the modern sequences, it's just them like.
I feel like that got brought up in a
Well,
Well, I
review.
like La Piscine, but this felt like it was trying
no.
to do like it's just them like lounging on the beach and then them laying in bed.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just
Are you
like
being
it-
too gilded?
It felt so
Like, are you being
inert.
a little
Yeah.
too,
It was- it was just
inert. Overt, it
boring.
sounds like fucking.
I think too, like I'm so down. Like the first half of this movie was overblown, and you mentioned camp earlier. I agree. It had this camp factor, and I was into it. I was there for that ride.
But you're not fully there. It's like Joel Schumacher. It's like
exactly. Like it doesn't go far enough.
Like you're not self-aware enough. Like this isn't intentional. And I can't enjoy it.
Exactly.
The first scene where Meryl is like drawing her, like she's looking in the mirror and she's drawing her portrait.
It was really cool scene.
It's cool, and it was gothic, and I was there for it.
And
but
then they say like she needs to see right away, and she fires her at like 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well then is that what the kind of what are we? Is that with that tonal sort of thing? It takes you out of it, and you're just like,
totally.
what are we?
What did you guys think about the look of the movie? Because the DP was Freddie Francis, who did like the Innocents for
Some
Jack
of it is
Clayton
really
and-
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I mean,
lighting.
it's fun. You just like brought up one of my favorite movies of all time.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
that
too.
is like one of the best films.
It so
and
is.
beautifully shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked into this. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a gearhead. I don't understand any of this, but they were using a system called Light Flex, where I guess they used an illuminated glass panel over the lens, which allowed them to like really control the exposure and create these very like tinted kind of sepia or whatever, these very like make it feel like a Victorian, like an old still or something. I don't know. The mood is so washed out, and like it feels probably very much like The Place, but there was just no vibrancy. And again, which I'm like, okay, this has to be intentional, right?
Yeah, like I love the color, like wash, like when it wanted to get
like when
they wanted to be cinematic, then exactly. When it wanted to be cinema, it would be that. Exactly. But then beyond that, they weren't really making choice. And so my thing is like, why are we doing these kind of Jeremy Irons, when he's in his place, when he's with his henchmen or whatever, I was like, these were very BBC like static shots.
Yeah.
And
Richard
it felt
Griffiths
a little
also.
cheap.
Yeah. Well, and Carol Rice does come from the new like British free cinema movement, which was very like sometimes people call it kitchen sink realism.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
which
it is exactly what you're
it
describing.
comes down again to intention and just what you're...
But then sometimes he used it like the first shot of the movie is gorgeous.
Right.
It's amazing and it's long, and he does another long take when she exits her trailer. Do you guys remember that? It's like
it's almost like all the transitional anything that wasn't dialogue.
Yeah, worked well.
Like, it was suddenly they were
do it
like,
in the house.
we'll
birth
get
or the lunch. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Sunday lunch.
Yeah, you're right. All the dialogue scenes were covered in just a very boring coverage way.
It was very
Just like,
like,
we're gonna cover this scene now.
Yeah.
Like the scene that again, it's just again a testament part, in large part to her talent, but also to what the subject matter was with Meryl Streep doing that whole monologue, and it's just you're just watching. I felt like I was just watching a high production
play.
This is what it was probably like watching her at Yale 5 years ago. Like so when I was watching her do that scene, I was like, oh, this is a very and then I don't know, there's like a nuance there that I'm like, it's dissonant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just to return to camp really quick, did you guys notice how campy that like doctor was?
Yes.
The asylum.
Okay.
What are we doing?
So weird.
See, I love that stuff.
Did you guys notice he took an oath on The Origin of Species by Darwin? He's like, nothing we ever say will leave this room. And
Oh
he's
my god, I didn't
swearing
pick up on that before. But
Origin
that's
of the
really
Species.
funny.
That actor was
That's a great
that was Liam McKern, who is like got a very distinct face.
Yeah, what do I know him from?
I don't know.
I was trying to place
but
him.
Yeah, like it's like he's
Hunt him down.
like John Rhys Davies is a much more refined version of like this guy. I feel like, know.
No, I feel like he's.
But
he's,
that guy
he's
was
come up in
wild.
things.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
And then
That's a really funny joke to pick up on too, because
Yeah,
also
that
there's
is-
a
I
very
missed that.
it's a very wry sort of Monty Python joke that it's also
Right,
again like
totally.
what, tonal dissonance. What are we
Yeah.
what are we
and like
saying?
that, just
like, how self-aware are we here?
and like gentlemen as scientists, that like science is like a pursuit for like a well-to-do man.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
it's like,
yeah.
The,
And the way they're describing her melancholia and like, well, it's
Yeah.
the obscure kind
It's
that no
really-
one can figure out.
Exactly. That was
Right.
so like that was just too
Like
on
great,
the nose.
great
like,
science.
I don't know. Do you guys
obvious.
know what a breech birth is? Yeah. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't
When he's
know.
there to help for a
Right.
breech
It
birth.
takes a little break.
the
Right.
ass first.
it's
Like
a
a
whole
baby
thing.
comes out ass first.
No.
oh, it's flipped, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
But like just the fact that
You just
he's
hear the
like,
woman screaming.
I had to be here for this breech birth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I wasn't at my
Yeah,
office.
it's funny too, like just the natural grime
Yeah.
of any lower
Yeah.
ranking, predominantly female led position was, where they have to deal with this muck and grime or whatever. But you have to be at the he gets so resentful that Meryl Streep's character just ran off.
Yeah.
And didn't give any word for several years. And it wasn't until he saw proof of her artistic like wherewithal that he was like respected for himself. It's just one of those things. It was like, no, you should have been available to me when I totally cheated on my fiance. When I ruined my life for you. It's like, well, no one asked you to do that.
Literally.
It's one of those.
And in the book, like one of the things that happens is he goes back to Ernestina and basically just marries her, which I actually thought was going to happen because I'm like, that's classic.
I see that more because she even was
that is classically how a Victorian like quote unquote happy ending would be, where like that marriage isn't very happy. But I was
a little surprised
he did the right thing. He did the quote unquote right thing, and now he's in the business. I just also think
like most likely is just being a practical like Ernest. She's ruined if she doesn't still take him. Like if they don't sweep it, like she mentions it. It's like if you don't sweep it under the rug, we're gonna have to. It like ruins her process.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised that they didn't go that route initially.
I hate society. It's so stupid.
The movie it totally abandons her. I don't know about the book,
That's
but
true. Yeah.
You get that last scene with her where she's like having a meltdown and then it's nothing more.
Which like
fuck her.
Yeah.
She was kind of annoying.
Also, the dude who played her dad was totally in the Crucible movie.
Yes.
He was Giles Corey.
Yes.
Were you talking about the
pressed to death with stones guy?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah, that guy.
He's also
he's got like a little
good.
face on a really big head.
Peter Vaughn. Yeah, he's also one
Peter
of
Vaughn,
what's his name? Shit, I'm totally blanking. He's one of the bosses in Brazil. The Terry
Oh
Gilliam
yeah,
film.
totally.
Jonathan
They're
Price's
part
bosses.
of the character actor menagerie. For sure.
There's quite a bit of it. Yeah, there were a lot of faces I saw that I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to know who you are. I also thought that Sam, his servant, felt like a made-for-TV movie version of like Mick Jagger.
Oh my god, totally.
I got a cross between him and like a young Tim Curry.
Yes,
like a young Brit TV.
Yes,
like pre Rocky Horror.
He was
whatever.
He was such a like London rude boy.
I like his energy where he's like, well, I'm leaving. Like he's very like, well, I'm gonna quit. If
it was
into
so
business.
weird.
Get from myself.
Yeah, it's very sassy.
I got from that. Yeah, I got like he's blackmailing him. He's like, oh, I need this money to start my business, and then he totally abandons that and is just like, fuck you, I'm quitting.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
well,
what?
I feel like what's his name?
But also like good for him.
Like refused to hear the refused to hear the blackmail or something maybe. Like I think he was just oblivious.
I think just Jeremy Irons' character is just a big dummy dumb boy.
No, this is how class works, and you won't. Like, can I have a word with you? He's like, no.
Like everyone's like they're just afraid
like,
of. He's also so afraid of confrontation. Like he's that much of a coward.
That's true. Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. And I like that you can just have your lawyer like put ads out for you, like to just find this woman.
And like lawyers are not accountants. Like how come he was like, yeah, you have to send her money? It's like
he's made his lawyer like a servant. Yeah.
No, he just didn't like. He just got whipped like fully, and then like he didn't even know her or like really care about her depth. And then they hook up for about 90 seconds, and she leaves, and that's it. Like
I'm just like confused.
And he gets mad about it.
I'm sort of confused why she lied to him about this whole, like having this.
The physical.
Oh, I think she wanted to level up, like for sure. I think she was definitely. You're right.
Like
she was definitely.
She just wanted to be different.
I mean, I do understand that. Like she's like, I've set myself beyond the pale. Like
right.
And there is like a liberty in that, but then it's like, But you haven't actually experienced like so it's like what is that?
How did she do that? It's almost like I wonder if she just got fun in the fancy of it. Like she got fun. She had fun in the imaginarium the storytelling.
I mean, there's like a logic
the seduction factor without the experience, and that's why it's like it was more jarring even when the cherry pop happens. Right, she is just so like this.
Well, I think when that happened again, his question is like, wait, so how much of this is true? Like, I just want to know, like, how full of shit are you?
She said what she had to.
She wants to level up.
I guess so. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good for her.
But like, it couldn't have been fun living in that town with that reputation. Like, she really wanted to be that.
Oh
different.
Yeah, no, I would have said what I said.
Bad.
She did what she had to do. Like, she leveled up.
And why did she stay in the town?
I don't know. And
because she was waiting on.
It's like,
she
so
was waiting on
the right
guy,
person to
the right guy.
be enticed
Also,
by the story.
I think it's funny that okay, so the title of this movie is French Lieutenant's Woman, but they always call her the French Lieutenant's whore.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
exactly.
could they just not get away with that in the
Exactly.
I
title?
think, yeah.
Or tragedy, right?
I think
That's the other
yeah.
name for her. Which,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of a good name actually.
So I don't know. I think it's just kind of like she went about caring so much what her like sexual reputation was and like thought sex was the way that she could dominate her femininity. But then she found this art and it was like, that's why she left him.
yeah.
And like, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I want more.
No, she figures out a way for herself. And
Yeah,
that,
to
like
just
I found like a
individualize.
painter who has like a
Right.
family, and they don't treat me like whatever. You know?
Yeah.
sounds
I don't
good.
know.
No, it's good for her in a weird way.
It's great.
There
For
were
the
some
time.
interesting parallels, not in a good way necessarily, but like with Lolita. The idea. I was just gonna say that, like, you know, that girl. If you read it from a very strictly like survivalist perspective, for
Yeah.
her, Dolores did what she had to do to
Yeah.
get through that situation.
No,
to come out safely, and so she did. And so I
Yeah.
look at this situation, especially when like I'm watching the love scene. I'm like, he's just like gross and shitty, like
Yeah.
you know. And so all the more reason I'm like, this is just a woman who's like desperate to do what she will do what she needs to do to get to
the next level.
next level.
Next level.
the goal.
Level up.
The level up.
Level up. No, you know what? You know, it's just
No, totally.
this is not. It's no, there's no romance.
What about the night at the club where he just gets shit faced?
That was funny.
Yeah.
With Uncle Vernon from
you-
Harry Potter.
Richard Griffiths.
Oh,
That was a
God, I
good
missed
catch.
that.
It's a good catch.
I think that scene, the only thing that stood out to me was really they have so much trust that the order is not going to be upset. Like their servants
Arrogance.
are standing there.
Like they're such dum-dums.
Exactly.
Yeah, like watching these supposed betters get stupid drunk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
can't hold themselves up. And
Yeah.
it's like, why don't these servants just slit their throats? Like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but like, this is just awful.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know. It reminds me of in White Lotus, there's like a good moment where people are just like loading up at the breakfast buffet and the two employees are just standing there like watching with like this silent disdain, you know?
I felt that I was just thinking about like in Succession
Yeah.
when Logan tells the caterers to throw out the lobster on seafood because of the raccoon, like there was
Right.
some shit in the estate, and you watch like Kendall coming in while you see these caterers just like unceremoniously
just dumping food.
all of this like thousands of dollars of Lux seafare, and it's that idea of just like, yeah, you have to passively watch people just be wasteful and
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like
I think I'm just hungry.
The night, well, it's like the night after any red carpet event. Like you'll see a dumpster like a block away that has like a big red carpet rolled up, sticking out of
Which
it.
is so funny that they run out of red car. No, it was because of rain. Or something.
Yeah, it's just funny
But anyway.
that like no, we just throw it out.
No, just throw it out. It's
Just
funny.
throw it out.
But
It's
not
so
sacred.
important. It was so
not
important
sacred.
last night, but
Exactly.
today it is trash.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood.
I was wondering too when Jeremy Irons falls and breaks the table. Like
Yeah.
it looks like you could really hurt
Well,
yourself
you know,
too.
there was a fall at one point where
dum-dum.
it's near the end where his character Charles, which we've never said, he
Yeah.
pushes her down.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
talk about
Oh,
this.
he's bad.
Okay, but
he's a bad
guys,
man.
this moment though.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Victoria.
like they like reset.
yeah.
They reset. They keep rolling.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the scene
It's
to
a
break.
meta moment.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
not meta enough, maybe.
Exactly. Like,
And don't
I
you
think I
know
would
that's
have liked
perfect.
it.
It was not meta enough,
I would have liked
actually.
it if they
I
said
did
still
not.
rolling and like, yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yes.
I really didn't like that scene, and I think nail on the head. It was
Yeah.
not. It was
Not
not,
meta
that, like.
enough.
What are you trying to say? You're undermining your own message.
'cause I-
whatever you're trying to say.
It's just like whoever
Why
cut
would
this
you do
movie
that?
did a shitty job and left this taken.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not
that's what
okay.
it is. Yeah.
Well, and that's actually a genuine take. That's more damning, I would argue.
Yeah.
Right.
On multiple levels. So yeah.
They
Ew.
should have
Okay.
cut.
Ew.
I
They
mean, it's
should
just,
have cut.
I mean,
We're losing stars.
Or it's like,
We're
I
losing
wanted
stars.
1,000 more moments like
Yes.
that.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
If you're gonna, if that's the story you're sharing,
Right, like-
and I will say again, to bring it up again, but
Yeah.
like Last Duel, on the men are unapologetically just like
yeah.
Awful.
baby trash silly boy like cuck fucks, you know, like they're losers. They're fucking losers. Like all of them are losers in their respect. And then with the women, they're the only ones that are like, oh, this guy's violent and terrifying, and he's a giant baby, and I'm terrified of how childish this like it's that.
Right.
I just feel like if you were gonna, this is the right material to tell a very similar story to that.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of.
Just thinking about like, did you ever see Tristram Shandy, like a cock and bull story? It's another adaptation and another like movie about making movies. It was Steve Coogan, like largely was the creative force behind it, but they're trying to adapt an 18th century novel called like Tristram Shandy, or the life and opinions of Tristram Shandy, which was like a postmodern novel before postmodern was even a thing. But the movie, you know, it begins as the movie, but then eventually, you know, the camera swings out and we see the crew waiting, and it's this, and it just.
That's what I'm hoping Beau is Afraid is like.
Right, that worked so well, and so I guess it's like, and it's unfair because that's a more recent example, but seeing. Again, this moment of reset. God, that could have. That was. Like,
I don't think it's that
too
fair
little,
for
too late.
It's, it's 1981
exactly.
when it came out. I don't think it's too late for you to call out that because the novel itself, even just the source material that isn't as meta as the film was aspiring to,
but it still
is deemed postmodern. So you're allowed to draw those parallels. Like you're allowed to acknowledge that we're not hitting a certain mark of intention.
It was funny. I saw some review that was just like. They were blaming it all on postmodernism or something. They were just like,
so lazy.
Like why did anyone think that was a good idea?
That's the unfortunate reality too when you're dealing with a film like this one. The same with The Last Duel, that deals with themes that are, I hate to say it, like feminist related. Like we have a very misogynist culture too. Like,
we do.
I'm sorry to say. You know, just not to,
I didn't know that.
Like but just genuinely, I feel like it tinges legitimacy in critical feedback. For them, it's this is postmodernism, or Star Wars is ruined, or there's a lot of there's overlap in the fact that it's because they're elevating stories about women. I'm just dragging you guys in. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No. How did we get here from talking about?
I don't know.
I think
we
reviews
did.
Is what it.
We're getting close to that. Yes.
You do your thing.
We're coming up. No, go ahead and get into it.
No.
I wanted to say was we talked about this being nominated for a number of things, including 5 Academy Awards: Best Actress, Screenplay from Another Medium, Adapted from Another Medium. That's the funny category that keeps getting tweaked in the language. Art direction, costume design, and film editing. Now, it didn't win any of those. It lost out big time to like On Golden Pond. Big time loss.
I mean, it is a better movie. But
it is a better movie, yeah.
It's more cohesive. It's more. It's like it sticks the landing of what it's trying to do.
Well,
it's true.
I think that's it. I think it was
more.
It's
just like it's set out for like. I mean, really,
it achieved what it wanted
biggest
to
complaint
do.
with this movie, with French Lieutenant Irma Vep is such a great say like what are you actually trying to say? Adding this meta context, like what are you? What are you advocating for?
I do
if
think,
anything.
I think the meta context too is much more interesting in the comparison to the book, because I feel like because I didn't know this was a book when I first watched it. I didn't know until afterwards. And I think as a film, just with that meta stuff, I don't think it's adding anything. I think it was a way for them to like adapt this book. Like, okay, well, how can we do it for the film medium? Oh, okay, let's do this other story.
Which
is such a shame too, because you could have said something. Yeah. You could have said something
profound.
Of value. Exactly, profound.
Yeah,
truly, because like if anything is gonna warrant that, it would be examining.
It feels sort of like an assignment, like that was done. Not necessarily for class.
It's like Charlie Kaufman's adaptation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The most I could come up with in that final scene, that like final room where the film ends, where he's just sitting in the room, that room with that amazing view of that lake.
It's gorgeous.
Everything is so fake outside. It's like clearly a set.
It's aesthetic.
Okay, they're saying something about artificiality.
Which it's funny that like we're having our rap party even though we haven't struck the set.
Yeah, what the hell? That's not a set. Oh wait, no. You're right. Sorry.
It's half baked. Like it's not. There's no real intention beyond like, oh, we happen to be seeing these two like hot lead stars having like an extramarital affair together because they're getting all hot and horny on this text that they're misinterpreting together. Oh no, I'm identifying with the protect. Like that's a little bit. I just feel like everybody looks like an asshole a little bit by the end of it. Like no one's saying anything special.
That's true.
What would have been interesting is if like the fake director of the movie that's being made served as this like narrator that actually exists in the book
like
as a character.
He's like even once more removed to say fully gilded
I don't know.
message about like, oh Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Right.
You know?
Well, apparently in Britain they ate this shit up because it was nominated for 11 BAFTAs.
Oh wow.
And it won 3: Best Music,
What?
It's good music.
Best Actress, Meryl Streep, and Best Sound, which.
But you
What was
guys,
the competition?
there's a Dracula song in this.
Oh, the fugue,
in the
church.
graveyard.
Yeah.
It's literally Dracula music. I couldn't believe my ears.
Forgot about that.
It's Bach or Beethoven.
Okay,
or something,
it's Dracula music,
It feels-
and it's
at that
playing
point,
in this
it's
romantic
Halloween
graveyard.
music,
Yeah, it's just silly.
It should have
it's so
spooky
it's
sounds
baity.
on it.
It's
Yeah.
very awards baity at that point.
Yeah.
At that point, from that.
Oh yeah,
you know.
I'm
At that
completely completely confused by all of the
Yeah.
attention.
I'm
I'm
top
just
contender.
don't get
like
it.
I said before, I was like,
You get reviews.
Yes.
and if you've read any reviews,
yeah,
too, it's all open.
With French Lieutenant's Woman, it does have an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes critically, but a 67% audience score.
I think the people have.
I think the people.
Yeah.
I think the people are a little more like kind of smart.
kind of don't know.
Did you see that thing about Elon Musk talking to? I guess he tweeted about the discrepancy between critics and audiences for the new Mario movie.
yeah,
and he's
which
like,
is-
critics are out of touch. Like something's going on. Like everyone loves the new Mario movie.
Like
What?
I hate that he did that, and I'm also like, fuck. The Mario movie was really fun and good though. Like dead ass.
you
It was
liked it?
genuinely like it was genuinely like an adorable. Just don't. Like what do you like? Don't go in thinking you're gonna get like Inside Out or Up or like it's not gonna change. It's not gonna.
I think honestly
change
that's
your
what
life.
people want.
But
It's
no,
like,
but you're
not
saying
not to not have that.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, after
you
like,
go in and you're just watching the video game play basically.
I mean, I'm
like
just-
it's
That's
just fun.
true, yeah.
I just
fun
feel like
gameplay.
after Lightyear being such a like.
Yeah, exactly. It was like way over intellectualized, too meta. Like, who fucking cares? Like, I just wanted to see him fight Zorg. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing?
Is Zork in the Buzz Lightyear movie?
Yeah, like, you know, Zorg. No, I didn't see the. No, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see the Starman. Fucking Chris. No, I didn't see. I'm just saying that in the toys.
I would have
what
loved that. Yeah,
exactly.
me too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Obviously, if I don't agree with the audience score, I'm gonna immediately throw them under the bus. But in this case, I think of it a little bit like a 3-woman situation where I think it's getting a little bit critically conflated as opposed to what the populist reception was. Now I'm seeing nothing but ripe tomatoes on this page, just nonstop. I know this stuff sounds superficial. I think it's important to acknowledge
No.
optics are a lot of what reviewers do,
Yeah.
right? It's not just about what they actually think, it's about what they want people to think that they think. That being said, Roger Ebert 3.5 out of 4 says the French
Loved
Lieutenant. Sorry,
I didn't.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just saying he loved it.
No, he enjoyed it. 3.5. Yeah, exactly. French Lieutenant's Woman is a beautiful film to look at and remarkably well acted. Not wrong. That's all. But that's all that is. Then I look at we have Diane Haithman from Detroit Free Press. An appealing movie of extraordinary visual beauty with superbly subtle performances by Meryl Streep and Jeremy Irons, particularly Irons.
I don't know about that.
That came out in 2021 too, so she had some knives to bed.
What do we call these performances?
Meow meow meow. Mark Kermode.
I love him.
Yeah.
You love him?
Yeah, we tried to get him on. And his person never
Disappointed in him.
responds.
He's so contrarian.
He's,
God.
Yeah.
He's the
I know, I
He's
hate
the
to-
Rex
I hate
Reed of our day.
I find him very contrarian.
Part of me wouldn't want to be a paid critic because I don't want to go see this J-Lo movie where she gets married.
Sure.
Like,
But it's like,
Are
it's
you
hard too.
referring
It's
to
like,
Shotgun Wedding?
I mean, it could be any number. She has played a bride like 12 times.
I know you're right.
she's also been a wedding planner And I love that for her.
She's also a bride at the end of Wedding Planner.
Is she? Oh my god.
gets married.
Oh shit.
Monster-in-law. That's another one.
Wow, that's a
I'm not
classic.
joking. Like there have been she
Selena.
has played
Selena.
a bride so many times. Anyway.
Yeah, no,
This isn't
I
about
understand
her.
that we have our inherent tastes and biases. At a certain point, I don't know. I just get mad when people don't agree with me, I guess. I don't know.
Does anyone agree with you that you found?
Victoria's Letterboxd review.
Oh, what did I say?
Meta with a tar
Accent.
like E accent.
With the E.
Oh my
Like an
god.
accent for
French.
E. Meta. 4 stars and a heart though, so you know.
You gave this 4 stars?
I don't remember doing
I didn't mean that as a drag. I feel bad now after everything we said. I meant that more just like I think you appreciate. I think there's a lot of like technical.
I must have been in a
Flourish.
good mood.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's
that's
your
okay.
like?
That's generous.
How do you use it? Because I've recently stopped using stars.
That's not completely true. Sometimes you still do.
I mean,
4 is big for me. Like I love a movie if I give
I
it
feel
4.
like
Oh, it's so tough.
I feel
man.
like, yeah.
Star ratings are.
I know that's
so
why I
hard to-
stopped.
the only
so
thing,
tough.
the only opinion I have about any of it is that if you give something a 5-star movie, it has to be rewatchable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be
I think
something you
that's
can watch
so-
again and again. And
I
again.
fully agree with that.
I agree with that.
If you rate something 5, but you would never watch it again, fuck you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's not a 5-star movie.
Well, that's what I found like very hypocritical about the 3 women review. Like if you
Yeah.
go on there, it has over a 4 rating.
One of them is Greg.
I'm just saying,
one of my
like,
favorite
it's-
movies.
I
I
mean,
love
if
it
you
too,
love
though. I
it,
No,
if
no,
you
no.
love it, that's
I
fine.
totally-
But it's
yeah.
I have to be honest. Like, how many of them are like really actually like, yeah, let's sit down and watch
5
Robert
stars,
Altman's
yeah.
like
Yeah, on your
3
episode,
women.
you were talking about James. Like, totally, people like James Franco are just putting it on there to like
I'm
impress
just,
Yeah,
I
people.
know
right,
that
right.
sounds like
Hey,
I just
3 women.
I'm so, like if you read the Criterion article, like you can't help but think like, did you just kind of like fill this out like 15 minutes before the homework was due? Like I'm not even
The Criterion article for it?
Look, I was rooting for James Franco. We were all rooting for James Franco, you know. But like no, but for real, like it's just a little bit of.
So fun.
Wait a minute. He wrote the Criterion article?
It's on his top 10.
He has a top, and then they ask him to write a little.
Yeah.
He
They
basically
do a
has to
little
write like a little,
explanation.
like a little
annoying.
medium article
Yeah.
list, like a little
Yeah.
live journal. And he just was big, you know, everybody just Altman just lets the actors do, and he's not wrong. It's like he lets his actors just do their thing. And I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah, there's so much she's missing.
what do you
Yeah.
like? Like why that versus
Right.
the play or anything else
Yeah,
that
yeah.
he's ever. So the French Lieutenant's Woman is at 3.4 average on Letterboxd.
Pretty high.
I must be
Honestly,
one of the people throwing
and
that
you
off.
know, well, you know, it's an interesting mix of,
Yes.
like I had said before, I like calling out when certain films veer towards like meme reviews versus
Yes.
more
What is this veer toward?
intentional. And now I feel like I'm a bully against 3 women. I feel like a dick now. I didn't even rate it that lowly. I just like.
What did
I
you
think,
give it?
I think I gave it like a 3. I think it was like it's good. Like it's not
not
good.
terrible.
It's like the way I felt about The Northman. I'm like it's good. I just
Oh.
was like
Northman was
whatever. I
Yeah.
was
I
like
think Three
I'm
Women
not,
is better than the Northman. I'll say that. But
Agreed.
I think it's
Agreed as well.
you're not Star Wars, but okay. Muppet Treasure Island's in my top 3.
Oh, so good.
I'm not high art. Like I'm not. But a large majority of the reviews that I've noticed for this are pretty intentional.
There, I have some meme.
Please do.
Letterboxd
Yeah,
ones.
Please
Jump
do.
4 stars and a heart. It's crazy how British people pronounce lieutenant lieutenant.
That was
Which
the one that I was just reading. I was
immediately-
like, that's funny.
No, yeah, because when
funny.
the movie started, I'm like, are they gonna keep saying lieutenant the whole
Yeah,
ass
yeah.
movie?
that I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? Where did the F come
I
from?
don't know.
Lieutenant. Yeah. It's
And
it's
then
a good one.
and then for a minute I was like, well, maybe there's not. Maybe they're saying like lieutenant. But I'm like, no, there's definitely an
It's
F.
lieutenant.
no, don't
Yeah.
gaslight yourself. You're right. Your ears are.
I was
your ears were
trying. My
working.
ears were squinting. You know, I was like,
No, it's a good. I honestly, because some of these, I'm reading them and I'm kind of like when Meryl Streep said, "I'm the French lieutenant's whore," really
I-
felt. I'm like, it's.
I got that one too. I got that one.
But that's the thing. It's like there's those are like the
popular
the
ones.
earlier ones, right? That
Yes.
rank, but they're not
Yeah.
like. No, I'm just being like how funny can we be here?
3.5 stars. A man so horny it drove him mad in 2 different centuries.
There you go. There you go.
accurate.
Yeah, this is
Accurate.
not even a meme one. This is one that's near and dear to me that I've come across. Daisy, 2.5 stars, heart. I love Meryl so much, but God, this was boring. I feel like that's just,
Right?
you know,
To the
say what you
point.
get in, get out.
Yeah, I
you
wonder
know?
how many Meryl fans just like they're like, okay, well, got to do this one next. And
I mean,
like,
that kind of
I
was
went
like,
in on good faith for her.
That was me. Yeah.
No, I think
Yeah.
it'd been on my Max watch list for a really long time. And I was like, oh, finally, like when you were like, well, watch this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good. Then I can finally take this off that list.
Oh.
And I don't have to look at this thumbnail anymore.
I just found the best review.
Oh,
I don't
please
know if you,
share.
Olivia, 3 stars, no heart, but 3 stars. Is this satire?
Yeah.
No
it?
punctuation,
Yes.
just is this satire? 3 stars.
yeah.
I also like that
I
angle
like
as
that a
well.
lot.
Like it's just the ambiguity. It's
think that's-
non-judgmental, but it's a little bit like
I think
what
that's
are
like
we
a
doing
little
here?
sassy.
I think it's a rational
bit.
thinking, rational person's
it's dry.
reaction.
It's dry, but it's a little bit like,
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, fuck me. But
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
meme of the butterfly. You know, is this satire?
Yeah, exactly. A man gets spit in the face. Is this satire?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, again, that's why 3.4. I feel like that's again the general trend. A lot of these other reviews,
I think
I don't want to throw any of the more in.
You don't have to dig them out, but I did
I
send
would
you
like
some
to.
like clippings from a while ago. I mean, even if it was just reading the headlines, you know, I mean, because those are essentially like, that's essentially what Letterboxd is, right? It's just
Yeah.
the review headline without the article.
True.
Exactly.
Let's see. So the Daily News on September 18th, 1981, when it came out, Pinter wilts in French dressing.
Okay, so yeah, Letterboxd doesn't have that.
yeah,
Just saying.
Well, but that's the thing is like they should.
They should.
they should.
I'm just saying you're gonna do a meme.
Why don't we
like, or
just
like, wait,
start
can we,
stealing them
you know,
and we'll
like,
just post them as our own?
you got the diamonds in the rough, and I'm just like, can we not go back to a time when things were just a little bit pettier? And,
Oh, I love petty.
Yeah,
no,
me too.
like
Dumber.
in fact, like this is
French dressing.
This is a tangent, but before the internet, where everything was heard immediately on press day for movies, like actors used to just sound off and say the most crazy shit because the crazier it was, the more likely it might get actually picked up,
Yeah.
and then run in bigger places and help the movie. But it's like, can we please go back to that? Like,
I mean, it's like that never went
Bombast.
away. It's just interesting that we
yeah, that we do it
like the
different now.
expectations of decorum or whatever, and it's funny that
Ooh.
you know I don't know.
People don't want to step on toes.
Yeah, French dressing though, that's good.
French dressing.
Great.
Again, from the Daily Mail, the Daily News. Sarah is described in this novel as moody, ambiguous, a total enigma of a woman who drove the respectable young aristocrat Charles Smithson mad with lust. What a lame name, Charles Smith. That's just me. Wouldn't you think a woman thus capable of reducing a man of station in the snobbish Victorian era to the status of an outlaw should be played by an actress with sex appeal?
No.
What?
Wow.
All the doors.
Shall I continue?
No.
Streep is not only drab to look at, she also seems depressed and exhausted. She's too icy for my taste. A Grace Kelly sculpted by Baskin Robbins.
What?
Scratch her and you get club soda.
Oh my god.
That's
That
awful.
is scandalous.
I didn't read that when I
Who
sent it to
fucking
you, by
wrote
the
this?
way.
Who did this? Who did this to Mother? Who did this?
That is
Oh
not
my
fair.
god. No, that's from the Daily News.
Yeah.
Is it Rex Reed? Or is it why is that name in caps?
That's because it's probably Rex Reed, yeah.
That's some shit.
May
for
you-
He's
cool.
the guy.
May
Yeah.
you burn in
Rex Reed is
May
the,
you burn in club soda.
he's the sassy one.
That was
That is
that was
messed up.
spicy.
God.
dude.
Wrong.
I had to read that out loud because I was
No,
like,
I'm
as
glad
I was
you
going, I was
did.
like, and I discovered it towards the end. I was like, I can't not.
No, thank you for sharing.
I don't know if okay, just
We're not going to top that.
I honestly, I really don't think we will because I have skimmed these already. I just
Okay.
but that
I love that.
the Rex one I found like a little even with the font and all that
no,
silliness.
Rex Reed was known for being just
And
an
we covered
absolute
enough. We
bitch.
covered
Yeah.
enough.
Like, yeah.
Well,
I,
so,
you know, shout
Oh,
out
yeah.
to Joseph Gamus. Are you guys homophobic? Why are
He
you
just sat up
laughing?
straight in his chair at home. You know,
What?
they're talking about me.
What's tough is the clipping. I'm like, I don't know how to cite it because otherwise I was going to say that one kind of had a really good technical proficiency of how it was like analyzing
Oh yeah,
the cinematography and how
Sure.
it served or like held back what they were trying to do. But yeah, nothing's topping.
no.
Club Soda,
Well,
scratch and sniffy Club Soda.
That is scandalous.
Fuck.
On our show, we do like a Pauline Kael segment,
Yes,
and I just
please.
happened
Yes.
to see what she said about this movie, and she's
Please.
on the same page as us.
I love it.
Just a quick
Love when
snippet
that
here. She says,
Mm-hmm.
Meryl Streep gives an immaculate, technically accomplished performance, but she isn't mysterious. We're not fascinated by Sarah. She's so distant from us that all we can do is observe how meticulous Streep and everything else about the movie is. And then she finishes it by saying, the result is overblown spareness. It's also controlled that everything seems to be happening punctually, even in the interpolated modern story about the actors who are performing in a movie version of Fowl's book. There are some lovely moments, and a few have magical overtones, but most of the picture might be taking place in a glass case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Snaps.
Yeah. It's funny because
Pauline,
she's
yeah.
usually mean, but Rex Street is like really
That was
vicious.
just fucking
made
just
a
that was
career of it.
colorful.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
That was like It's Always Sunny. Like, oh, like what? like that level of insult was
No,
just
people-
on another level.
People say.
Yeah, I
Well,
felt like that was
and-
pretty accurate to just the lack of. There's just
Yeah.
it's just icing.
And like Meryl Streep definitely took a lot of insults about her appearance. Like that was he's not the only one to have
Of
like
course.
complained about it. Like people
Which is just
yeah, I mean which is just like fucking crazy.
Yeah, right.
Some other movies that I did realize this movie got released kind of slowly. It started in like literally 3 cities, LA, New York, and Toronto. And then they kind of just like open it up. And I think the Village Voice called it like technically a success.
Yeah, because they were very measured about it.
They were
or
very
whatever.
measured.
Yeah.
But some other movies it was competing against were Body Heat. Lots of steam. Like
Someone
way
who
hot.
lasts.
I mean, I don't even like love Body Heat, but I'm like, that's a way hotter movie though.
Oh
like,
yeah,
than
it's like
this.
more than 2 thrusts. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of ice being dropped onto hot spot. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
are
good.
you kidding?
It's got that sizzle.
It's good.
Jeremy
sizzle.
Irons, you put like an ice cube on it.
Yeah, he'll just like wimp out, you know.
Ew.
Anyway, Gallipoli came out right then.
Okay.
Hell Night. Now, #1 at the box office was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which had been there for about 12 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
As it should.
Then #2 was An American Werewolf in London.
Oh.
#3 was Arthur. #4 is Stripes. And #5, First Monday in October.
Oh.
Some kind of a, Supreme
No
Court
wonder Indiana
drama
Jones
thing, I
was-
guess.
all the more
Yeah.
reason I would
Yeah. Also,
go
though,
see it.
some things were out and popular. Superman 2
Oh, right.
and Heavy Metal.
Oh, wow.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Just
You
wanted to-
got some solid bangers
I got some bangers.
amidst
yeah.
the
Yeah.
I think too it shows, it was the 80s were like auteur filmmaking. This kind of film was not in fashion in the 80s.
Definitely.
Right.
So like his
Definitely.
Raiders is the perfect testament to that of like
Yes.
the
At that
Spielberg had
point.
taken over those films, Star Wars and
Yeah.
Jaws had
Absolutely.
taken over.
Spectacle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of see how this was like
I mean, especially I was picking on Three Women. That's when A New Hope came out. Like,
Yeah,
the same
that was-
year.
that was
I'm
the-
picking on the Sauteur thing.
No, that
like,
was the European ships landing on
Yeah.
the New World.
Yeah,
Like,
Plymouth Rock. Here we go.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star
Yeah.
Wars is the Spanish conquistadors.
Exactly.
There you go.
And I would like to talk a little bit about our director this week. In the director's chair is Carol Rice. I wanted to mention I took the one film class I ever took, which I bring up more than once. We had a spelling test. Like we literally had to take and retake until we got it right, and this was one of the names that we had to spell.
wow.
And I can spell it because of that
Ooh,
fucking
snap.
test. Like, and it's because of that test I know it's Federico Fellini and not Frederico. Anyway, I just want to bring up this is a tough name to spell, and it is a man.
It means a
despite
lot.
Carol. Anyway,
They wouldn't put
Some
you through
people-
that for nothing.
they went in,
And
no.
it should be put into practice
I've
now.
been traumatized. No, it was good. It was good for us. He was born July 21st in 1926 in Czechoslovakia to Jewish parents. At 12, he was sent to England. Pretty much, I mean, not really, I don't want to say against his will, but it was to escape impending Nazi control. He was one of 669 children saved in the Kindertransport, which was an organized effort to rescue children from Nazi-controlled territory. His parents would later die at Auschwitz. So
my God.
they made the right choice, I guess, but damn. So in 1938, he arrives in England and pretty much is determined to just blend in as quickly as possible. He attends the Leighton Park School, which is a Quaker school. And I guess David Lean also went there a few years ahead of him. So a couple interesting filmmakers. And this is in Reading, which is southeast England. During the Second World War, Rice joined the Royal Air Force, part of like a Czechoslovak squadron. I think a lot of people were given an opportunity to like fight against the people that turned them into refugees. So he did serve. But after the war, he studied at Cambridge for chemistry. Not sure why. And he ends up becoming a grammar school teacher. So he's doing, just some basic, I have a job and I teach the young ones. But he gets interested in film and starts writing for sequence and for sight and sound, which I just And he's one of the people who helps define the free cinema movement in the UK, along with Lindsay Anderson, who it's funny that Lindsay and Carol, they're both men. But
God, we're gonna have a Meredith now.
I know, right?
Oh,
he co-authored a book called The Technique of Film Editing in 1953 on the aesthetics of montage, and this is apparently a book that sort of became a foundational work for even just film schools. It's like, so man, just write a book on something and then force it into classrooms. I don't know. He did do a lot of short documentaries first. Things like Mama Don't Allow, Every Day But Christmas, We're the Lambeth Boys, and March to Aldermaston. These all sound intensely English. But this series of documentaries they're described as being sort of like, it feels like a lot of the early British docs were done in this is an assignment sort of way, just very rudimentary and basic. And that's kind of like the criticism that sort of sticks with him through his early feature films. Although, again, free cinema was focusing on working class protagonists, proletarian themes, social realism, kitchen sink realism, all that stuff we were talking about. And in general, it is a personal story. It is usually about one person in some kind of a struggle. His first film was Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, which was also Albert Finney's first movie. And again, people are like, yeah, it's not that good. It's kind of like cliche ridden and, people don't really love it, but you got to start somewhere, I guess. Sure. I don't know. People have more room to grow back then, it felt like. Then he followed that up with Night Must Fall, Morgan, and then some of these other ones. He did one called Isadora in 1968, which is about Isadora Duncan, and Vanessa Redgrave is in this film. I haven't seen this, but I'm kind of curious. Like, he's done a couple of pictures that are about almost like biopic style, because Sweet Dreams in 1985 is all about Patsy Cline. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this existed.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a movie about Patsy Cline?
It stars Jessica Lange.
What?
I know.
Good for her.
I didn't know this.
What's it called?
It's called
Sweet Dreams.
Like the song. Patsy Cline. I know. As soon as I was like, oh my God, I love Patsy. There were some other ones in there. The movie that people really point to, though, as being the big turning point, like, oh, now he's really a filmmaker, is The Gambler, which was in 1974. And that was a U.S. production. James Caan is the lead. So I think, I don't want to like give him all the credit, but it seemed like something must have been working, Then it's followed by Who'll Stop the Rain, French Lieutenant's Woman, Sweet Dreams, and then Everybody Wins. He's done like a lot of theater as well, but I didn't get into that.
That was wonderful.
I think we got
all right. Yeah. This is one of my favorite parts. This is the best supporting player part.
Ooh.
Like, I'll start with you, Jackie. Who's your best supporting player?
Okay. So I am a big fan of Downton Abbey.
Oh, I know.
Do you guys like Downton Abbey?
I actually haven't seen it.
So the woman who plays Jeremy Irons, the actor Jeremy Irons. That's another thing about this movie. I can't remember anyone's name.
Right.
I
That's
can't
okay.
remember anyone's name.
You're doing great so
the
far.
Actor, thank you.
I'm following.
The actor is Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's wife is played by Penelope
Fucking
Wilton.
stole mine.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
she is just
Cousin Violet.
Cousin
Yeah.
Cousin
Fantastic.
Isabel.
Oh,
Excuse
Isabel.
me.
Wait. Oh.
Violet is
Oh,
the
so-
Dowager Countess.
Oh my gosh, never mind.
Cousin Isabel, gotta shout her out. She's one of my favorite characters on Downton. She's great in this.
And
Penelope
she
Wilton.
kills.
She was good in this.
No, yeah.
I mean, she didn't have that much to do, but I totally bought her. Like, she seemed very
Less is more.
authentic. Yeah.
Less is more.
Especially at the lunch Like
she knows
it wasn't
everything.
one of those tacky. Exactly, she knows everything, but it wasn't those tacky like I'm a wife who knows my husband's cheating on me type of thing. Her performance was just really natural.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a good job. I know that's not like the fun option. To
No.
But anytime there's like a Downton character, I have to.
This
go
is
with
why
them.
we do it, because it's like everyone always looks at the big people. It's all those like little supporting performances.
What a great segment.
Thank you.
No, I was going to say the same. I just was looking to see what her other.
We'll come back.
She's in Shaun of the Dead, I think. She's
I'm just looking at she's that Pride and Prejudice match. She's
in Pride and Prejudice.
I
Yeah.
wanted
which
to
one? The
acknowledge
The Keira Knightley one. She's Mrs. Gardner.
I wanted to
Her
acknowledge.
aunt.
Yeah, I wanted to. Don't be so snobby. You're so pretentious, or whatever. They're making fun of her for.
Yes, like
Yeah.
He's so rich.
handsome,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Oh, he's so rich.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be so pretentious.
Yeah.
That couple.
He's so rich.
Yeah.
poor man can't help
Exactly.
it.
Oh, don't be such a snob.
Yeah.
That's Davis
She's
strongly
cool
of
in that
bitterness.
too. She's such like she's a really good
You're right.
aunt.
Okay.
No, she's in a bunch of. I actually was.
No, I'm
more
glad you made that
so-
connection, because now I'm like, yes,
You know her,
it is
right?
that woman. Yes, totally.
I low key, honestly, just again,
Yeah.
I've just been watching too much Succession for like a half second. I was like, is she the mom? She's not.
Oh yeah.
Is she Caroline? She's not. As a different actress. I just was for a second wanting to
Yeah.
check that.
I don't
but,
blame you.
That's my supporting.
That's your supporting
Oh,
as well?
absolutely.
Okay.
Her saying like, oh, you shouldn't envy me. Like that
Exactly.
moment and the way it
that
hangs
moment is
was like so. It was just
Yeah.
like. What are you doing to me, man?
I know.
What are we doing, man? What are you doing? This is good.
You're pulling me back
This is
in.
the
exactly. I had kind of given up on the movie at that part,
Yeah.
and then that happened.
Oh, you knew
Yeah.
what you were doing. What do we?
Exactly.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
kind of sits with it, and then Meryl gets uncomfortable. Would you like a drink?
Yeah.
It's very like
God, just
that's
takes-
very also Caroline vibes.
Still
a little.
taking care of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you,
I'd say-
Greg? What was your best supporting player?
It's the bitchy valet.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons. What's his name? I don't remember. Is it Sam?
yeah.
in Hilton McRae.
Oh
He's
yeah,
great.
He's
That's a good
he's
choice.
so good.
He was good.
I forget, did Harold Pinter write The Servant, the film, the Joseph Losey film? I think he
I
did the
don't
script for that
know.
too, because also, again, there's this servant
Yeah.
sort of dynamic going on. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we covered the ruling class like
The Servant. Yeah,
many
he
many
wrote
weeks
it.
ago, and it actually like just that alignment between like the
And he wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh,
the
really?
1990.
Natasha Richardson.
with Natasha Richardson. That one is so.
Oh.
I haven't seen it.
It was on Criterion, and I was like, I guess I'll watch this.
Yeah, look at sexy. It's
Someone
very
else
90s.
is in it. Someone else big
Oh,
is in it.
Dangerous Liaison.
What's his name?
Yeah, Faye
what-
Dunaway,
is it
Natasha
Aidan
Richardson, Robert
Quinn?
Duvall, Aidan Quinn,
Aidan Quinn.
Elizabeth McGovern, Victoria Tennant,
And
Blanche Baker, Dobby.
that's a weird one.
Yeah, and then also
Dobby?
No, I just was saying somebody's last name was Dobby. I wasn't really
The
reading
house
it.
elf.
Yeah, Dobby's a free elf, unlike you women.
Well, I think that's a great choice, though. I think that was good. He had a lot of sass,
So much sass.
so much
Yeah,
sass
I
for
know.
somebody.
He was
who-
memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked him.
He doesn't take any crap.
Does not take crap. Plus, he fell in love. You gotta love.
There you
love
go.
He
wins.
hooked up.
He
Yeah,
went for it.
He.
You know, follow
He's
your
living
heart.
his best life,
Yeah.
honestly.
You
more
guys
than
know what was
Jeremy Irons.
hilarious? The fact that they caught them immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons
I
and Meryl
know.
Streep kiss, and then of course, like they're
Yeah.
right outside.
No
Two
one,
servants.
like,
First
they're
kiss,
not
too.
subtle.
First kiss,
It's so
yeah.
sloppy. And
Yeah.
again, it's like, is this camp?
Camp, exactly.
How
the way he runs
in
out
on this
and
are
is like,
you?
"You're
Yeah.
not going to say anything," and I'm like,
My best supporting player was Patience Collier, who played Mrs. Pulteney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just because she was so camp.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong choice.
You know, like it is unseemly.
It's unseemly.
but like, why would she even hire her? You guys,
I really-
why would
crazy.
she hire
Because
her?
She needed somebody to torture.
It's crazy.
She's like, I love yelling at people.
Silly lady.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked her. I thought she was fun.
The position of
She was playing full into the gothic
companion.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, like,
really-
And also, did you notice like at one point when she's not even speaking, she's just listening to Meryl. Like she's trembling so much, you can see like her little lace cap like shake.
Yeah.
It's just like, damn, this woman is listening actively.
Frail. She's a frail
She's very
little
frail.
little lady.
She's trembling
Yeah.
like a leaf in the wind.
A leaf
Yeah.
in wind.
Would anybody watch this again?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
I'd give it
You
5. I'd
would?
give it 5 to 10 years, and I'd watch it again.
Okay.
I don't think I would.
I think I'm good.
If it was on, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, it's
Yeah.
the French lieutenant's a
I
woman,"
think I'll go clean my bathtub.
and I, depending on the scene, and I'd be like, "Oh, she lost her cherry, and he's done, and he's
so
done."
bad. Oh. And it the build up, you
Oh,
know?
no,
It
she's
was all
gone.
leading to that. And then it just
he fixes the fireplace.
I just think
and then it leads to
Yeah.
That's
them
not real- it
holding
was not
hands.
sexy.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I would.
not intentionally.
No, I can't sit through the whole thing again.
Oh,
like I
sure.
said, if it's on TV
It's
and
less
if
than
the
2
cherry
hours.
popping
hey.
is coming,
Yeah.
or if the ending is coming.
Oh, hey, look at those guys. Look at,
I'm
look at
trying.
those.
I'm trying to think of any not even on a plane. Like
no,
I would
there's too many things
You'd rather
to
sit in
watch.
silence.
I would rather look out the window.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd watch an episode of Big Bang Theory, like ironically, and then I'd be
Ooh,
like,
now that's an interesting poison.
I would take
which
this over.
I think I would take
Yeah,
this
I would
over
take
that.
this.
Yeah,
I don't-
you found a new low for me.
you know what? Not everybody lives all the way up. Only bullfighters. That's what Laura Hillenbrand said. She wrote Seabiscuit. Look it
Yeah,
up.
you're right though that
Only bullfighters
in-flight
live all the way up.
entertainment.
And I would watch Big Bang Theory
Again,
like an
yeah.
episode of that before like this whole movie.
What about-
I said it.
What about 3 episodes of Big Bang?
Oh
Theory?
no! Oh my
Or this
God! Are
movie?
you kidding?
Okay,
no,
well-
I would never. That's too much. That's
Yeah.
mean. Like, okay, you caught me. Like, I don't like Big Bang.
If you watch more than like 3 episodes of Big Bang, you have to call poison control. Like,
Oh yeah,
you're not
So
well.
true.
You're not well.
yeah.
I feel bad because I've never seen an episode.
Don't.
Nor
And
should
yet
you.
I-
That means you're healthy.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I still said like with resounding confidence, like
Yeah.
I would watch this before.
Yeah.
Big
Well,
Bang.
that
I feel bad.
you're not wrong.
Okay, good.
You're a good guesser. You know. Like, any final thoughts at all on this joint?
We didn't mention the Victorian Starbucks, which is essentially him going to a barn and asking for a cup of milk.
I forgot about that.
Penny.
Raw milk. That was,
Yeah,
I was like,
in a mug, and he's like sitting there. It's
That's
like, would
so
you like
Starbucks.
this for here to go? Here,
That's
they give you
right.
an actual mug, and
wow.
These
Yeah.
are the details.
Totally
like, if you don't
forgot
pay
about
attention, movies just like pass you by.
Yeah.
It's true.
You don't pay attention.
I thought it was a nice touch, honestly.
I mean, that's why moist gingerbread.
yeah,
Honestly,
gingerbread is another good
moist gingerbread. There's
touch.
that. There's the gym where they're doing the like the scene in the
gym.
locker room. It's just this weird,
the
Weirdness.
tennis.
This movie has
stuff.
a weirdness. The origin of species that they
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like,
upon.
I'm like, is this satire?
I think
Exactly.
I feel like it has to be. It has to be. Like,
Like, why do we need to see him saying,
We
how
are
much do I
laughing.
owe you? A penny, maybe, taking it out and giving it to the guy. Like,
I don't know. I think so much of it is unintentional.
And that's the thing is like, if it had been I feel like it would have been more controlled in a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why it's like,
Sure.
I wish it was more self-aware.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish it was more self-aware. It does,
I agree.
unfortunately.
Thank you to everybody who's listened. Who made
thank
it.
you guys for having
Yeah.
us.
Oh my
God, thank you for
This was
being
so
here.
fun.
Do you have any other, podcast or
Well, of course, everyone should listen to Seen and Heard. Go
Any
subscribe to
plugs
that
or
because you go through the Sight and Sound poll. You go right like
no? But I
Thank
like
you.
people going through that list and just kind of analyzing like,
yeah, and you're still
What
working your
is
way
getting
through the,
there
the
and
last one,
why?
right?
We're doing 2012. Yeah,
Right.
we're finishing up. Well, not really.
a lot of
not quite
overlap,
finishing
though.
up. There's a lot of overlap.
course, yeah.
So
I bet there's a lot of cool things to pick up trend wise.
Oh, there's-
to
Yeah.
see what changes are happening. There's so
fascinating
much politics.
things.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
Basically, everything that's old is on its way out.
It's true.
Like it's
Yeah.
dropped significantly.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And these are like classic.
Staples.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Like
so
how low's breathless
subjective.
now, like really
Yeah.
low,
Right?
Yeah.
and it's like
Oh, that one's
and it's of all time, right?
it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
all-time
Just
every
the
Any
20th
country all over the world.
Yeah,
I think okay. I think maybe it was Variety or THR that came out with like in the last 20, like in the 21st century, the last like
Yeah.
50. I think that's why I was wondering. It's like, is it in just in a certain time frame, or it's just of all time?
It's
Of
up till
all
now.
time.
Like Get Out is in there. And,
Is in the new one.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire is in
Fucking
there.
snobs.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys for having us.
No, of
and
course.
This is a blast.
Any handles to promote or anything like that, or just
check
Seen
us
and
out on
Heard?
Follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Seen and Heard Pod on Instagram. It is SCENE.
Yes.
I feel like Jackie, we made a mistake when we did that for our podcast.
No, I think
Because
I think it should be seen like that,
Yeah.
and not.
It looks cool visually, but then every time you explain it to someone, you're like, you have to specify SE.
Look,
Right.
I don't want to punch down on your fan base. I don't want to call them a bunch of dinglings
Well,
who don't understand like basic wordplay. But I think do not compromise on that.
it's too late
you
now.
guys know there was already a podcast called Seen and Heard, or several podcasts with SEEN and Heard, and they're all like psychology podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
but some woman
It's
had
also
the
the most
gall
obvious. Some
to
woman.
start a podcast with the same spelling of ours like a year after we'd been doing
Is it about movies?
No, it's about like local culture or something.
What?
Oh fuck!
Oh,
let's
like
shame.
the
Let's
scene.
shame. And it's not even seen like she's like you're like you
Like
talk about
the
movies.
scene, you know?
And she's
Like,
just
what's-
like, oh, the scene, whatever.
The bar scene
If
in
it was-
downtown
We're like,
Austin.
flame her.
and, like,
Cut this.
yeah.
Cut this. We're nice. We're all good people here. We're all good people. We should flame her.
We'll
right?
take her down.
If it was a movie podcast, we'd do a cease and desist.
Oh, I would reach out to her.
No.
I would reach out to her.
We
if
have
it
no
was a
basis.
movie.
We haven't trademarked
podcast.
anything.
Well,
Thanks.
yeah. Thanks for coming to
Thanks.
play the game.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us, and
Yeah.
you guys come to us.
Yes,
please.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be
happening.
fun.
Yeah, dude.
Can I say what the movie? What
Actually,
the
yeah.
movie-
I don't know why we're
With-
pretending like we don't already
So we're
have the
gonna-
schedule.
Yeah, we're gonna
Wait, what is it?
Mulholland Drive.
Oh, right. No. Yeah.
and we're gonna come
Fuck
and
yeah.
join.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
I'm so down.
Yeah,
I'm so down.
Thank you for saving that.
It's gonna
No,
be
that's
really
fine.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a
'Cause,
treat. That's a real treat.
It is a treat. It'll be a treat to talk about that. And you can continue listening to this podcast, and you can follow it on social media at the various places at Fresh Movie Pod. This was great.
Great. This is really fun.
SCENE and Heard. Okay.
That's our Instagram. We also have a website that I update every week, but
That's
I feel
true.
like no one goes on.
Oh, people
That's a
go.
lot of
It's called
dedication going weekly.
seenandheardpod.com.
I mean, that's you had like an official email. It's
We
very
do.
cool.
it
Honestly,
really hasn't gotten us far.
I mean,
They really
understand.
have. They really like. They're crossing their T's and dotting their I's.
It's
Like
good.
they're doing the stuff. They know their shit, and they're fun, and they're good people. And yeah,
Aw, you guys are fun and good
glad
people.
we're glad to have you all tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
this
us.
is a blast. Thank you.
All right.